everyone. Welcome to the Concrete Wasteland podcast. I have a old friend and familiar voice here today. We have the Swan. The Shredder from Crimson Caliber and Abysswalker is in the house rocking his Without Mercy. Ooh.
Hi, DJ.
What a pretty shirt. So, I've kind of had a bit of a theme with the last few interviews. You're number 4 out of my quarantine, I guess, interview thing that we've got going right now. We did Zach Anderson, Max Priest of Soul Runner, and Justin, our good buddy from Lethbridge. I can't say what bands he's in because he was very hush-hush about that on the podcast, but good old Lewington was on here just the other day, and I've kind of had a 3-way thing I've wanted to go about things, and we'll kind of go into how conversations are going, but I want to do what were you doing and what were your plans and intentions for 2020 before the pandemic hit? What have you been... Okay. The second one is going to be kind of what have you been doing since the pandemic hit? And the third one will be like, what has that made you have to like kind of reassess, and what are your readjustments for 2020 onward into normalcy? So I guess to get everything started. So last year, Caliber played a couple festivals. You finally got an Abysswalker track out and did something with that. And a few things have changed over the past, I guess since the last time you were on the podcast, even in regards to who all resides inside of Crimson Caliber right now. So tell us a bit about what you've been up to and everything that's been kind of going on before shit hit the fan.
Well, we played Loud as Hell last year. We played Walker for the second year in a row. We played Alt Waves. And then near the New Year's Christmas break, in between Christmas and New Year's, we ended up losing our drummer. And Drayden Perner of Naraka was kind enough to step in and play some shows for us, and he was just such a good fit that he joined in the fold.
A little tidbit I guess I was about to say we've been using his drumming at the start, but I just realized that's the drummer that came before Drayden in Naraka. But he was in the band that you've been hearing at the start of every episode. So we've had Vanden on the show, and now the drummer of the band Vanden was in that got Shawn and I kind of a bit more active in the scene is now in a band with the Swan. And
I'm not going to give away too much, but he's a fantastic fit. Sweet baby Jesus.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, they've been slightly reworking things, and I know Shawn's not going to go into detail here, and I'm going to keep as tight-lipped as possible. But the things Drayden can do, as Shawn can attest to this, Shawn can attest to this. I'm not the biggest thrash metal fan, but I'm fucking excited to see what happens and hear what happens with Drayden behind the kit for Caliber, because that's just unlocked a whole nother, I think, another wheel well of potential for the band.
Imagine Chris Adler and Gene Hoglan had a sex love baby.
Yeah, that's a very accurate description of that. What was Caliber kind of looking to do this year? Like, did you guys have any like major plans? What was Caliber's original kind of 2020 looking like?
Our original 2020 was looking at we had Moments Fest, we had Decimate Fest, and we were planning on recording a single and releasing releasing an album toward the end of the year. So we actually had some pretty big plans that just got suddenly kiboshed.
Yeah, and what really sucks too is you guys, like you said last year, you played a lot of festivals. You've done Metalocalyptic a few years in a row. Loud as Hell was a really good show for you guys, and I brought this up with Raising the Ruins a bit too when I was talking to Justin, but this is a real kick in the nuts for momentum right now. Like,
I have no idea.
Like, I was talking with, it was Max too, because Max was talking, because Soul Runner has an album that's in the works. They were going to release a single at a show that was supposed to happen a week or two ago. And things just, they aren't working out in that way. The show didn't happen. The single's not ready yet. Like, all this is happening. And we were kind of talking. It's really going to be interesting, though, to see what bands do, because you're going to notice the ones that have momentum after this are going to be the ones that find ways to still capture an audience during this time. Like, this is really going to force some bands to really rethink some things and just reassess how they're going about their day-to-day operations almost.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. So what have you been doing, I guess, during the pandemic time? Like, have you been able to keep work going? Because I know a lot of people just haven't been, but I know Justin is still working. Zach is still working. What's what's life been like for you for the past month?
I'm still working.
That's good. What are you doing for everyone?
Me and the old man and I are managing some of the municipal dumps around the Cypress County area.
Okay, so keeping things taken care of while everyone's stuck at home, just doing their thing. And it's weird seeing how many services have been deemed essential. Obviously, yours makes sense. Like, you can't. Yeah, you can't not have that stuff piling around during this. But like Zach is still going as a delivery driver for groceries now. It's interesting how things have shifted. How about the rest of the Caliber camp? Like, what's everyone doing there?
I'm not 100%. I know Drayden's working a bit. I know Amber might be because she works at a pharmacy.
Okay.
And I don't think Travis is working right now. So
okay, so it's a bit of everything for everyone there. Isn't it nice to hear the Swan again on the Concrete Wasteland? I know I'm enjoying it. It's time for the first band of the episode, though. So before we get more to the talk with Swan, let's get into that. This band is Jupiter Hollow. The track we are going to listen to is off their Bereavement album, which is out on June 12th on all streaming platforms. So go get that ready. This is for fans of Tool, Rush, A Perfect Circle, Pink Floyd, Tesseract, The Contortionist, Carnival, and Rishlow. Swan is a huge fan of a few of these bands, so that's why I picked this particular band to start off with everything. So we are all going to have a great time listening to this. The song we are going to listen to is Kipling Forest, and the band goes into a very long description here, which I'm not really going to get into, but let's go into the second half of it. Jupiter Hollow sounds like, well, that's for you to determine. We don't care what we sound like since we don't have control over our destiny. Our path is written, but we must walk it. Therefore, the music has already been created in the future, and we are messengers of the present. We are from Earth, from your future. Moving forward through time is to move forward through space. We are evolutionary descendants of our past. We evolved from our actions. Jupiter Hollow is here to share the missing link of your human existence. So, few reviews here. Strong playing, excellent songwriting, and above all, it is most uplifting, something we really need in this day and age. A band to look out for in the future. That's from Hellbound. And from White Room Reviews, an adventurous duo that isn't afraid to experiment with sound as well as influences which range from Rush to A Perfect Circle to Newer Legions. That was actually Lords of Metal. Forget Tool, forget A Perfect Circle, forget the Mars Volta. Here's Jupiter Hollow. That is from White Room Reviews. So without further ado, here's Kipling Forest by Jupiter Hollow off Bereavement, out June 12th on all streaming platforms.
Might be the last word for me to stay. not the one I grew up under. Are you okay? Can you live with your decision now in the process of concealment? Can you cope with your position now in the forest? Every brother, every sister, mother, father, child, you left them all to suffer on the back of your conceited pride that you choked on. Are you okay? Can you live with yourself?
So with Drayden joining you guys working on an album, like how have things kind of changed sound wise for you guys? Like what have you guys kind of been adjusting or tuning, I guess, tightening up a bit? Like what have you guys been attacking?
Really just making sure, because we encouraged Drayden to go through and add his flair to everything. We were just making sure that everything that we have lines up with what he's doing, and then adjusting accordingly.
Okay. And that new album you guys were working on, what were like the plans for that, like theme wise, or are you still going to be going through with that album after you guys looking at maybe adjusting things?
Oh no, we're definitely going through with it. We had the GoFundMe campaign, so it's all in.
All right. So what can people sort of expect once that eventually comes to be?
Not a departure, but an expansion off of Manufactured Genocide, if you've ever listened to it. we explore a lot of options, and there's a little bit of experimentation, and there's some stuff that I'm actually really friggin' proud of. So
awesome, that's tight. And aside from Caliber, you got a few other side projects that I know are still kind of hush hush, but I know you also got one of them working on something and the other one just kind of forming in the background, kind of getting their ideas figured. Anything you want to kind of talk about on either, I guess, the Abysswalker or other project at all?
As soon as the quarantine lifts, I'm going to be going into the studio with Reagan, and I'm going to record a new Abysswalker single.
Finally going to get that done. Just got to wait till the quarantine's over for that one.
Yeah,
that sucks.
And that one's a huge departure from what Blackout was.
Yeah, because Blackout was kind of just the track that you wanted to get done. Like you were just sick of it not being.
I was sick of people not wanting to use it, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just record it myself.
I stand by it. It would have been a good Caliber song. It definitely didn't work for Deadlights. Like looking, like especially with the stuff you've kind of heard, like what we're working on in the background, like it would have been like among the other songs that we know are going to be the first to axe, that would have been another one just based off sound departure. So, but for Caliber, I still stand by it. That would have been a good one, but it's good that you're still keeping.
Yeah, I kind of jumped the gun on that one. Yeah,
but who knows? Like maybe 3 years down the road, they'll finally be like, "Hey, so I can finally play it." But
they could have played it.
I know. Oh, they easily could have. It's more so just a desire to. It's a good track. But so you, for the longest time, have been doing all of your songwriting with Guitar Pro, and I remember the first time I finally got you the license for that. Like you went hard, like really fucking hard on using that, and you haven't stopped. But just a few days ago, you finally got a bit of an upgrade going, and I finally upgraded my computer. Yeah, and for the folks at home that know Swan and know that he's very, very good at writing and figuring out what he needs to do through Guitar Pro. This is going to be a very interesting time just in regards to what you create, because for those that you don't know, I ended up, after Swan got everything, like his computer set up, I finally got to take my Line 6 pod that's been sitting in my drawer collecting dust for the past 2-3 years and install it properly on Shawn's computer, because that's been a failed attempt for a couple of years now. We're always like, maybe we'll get it this time. We'll figure it out, and just nope. So how's it been a few days after everything's been set up, pod farm set up, Reaper set up, you got all your VSTs going? What have the learning curves been? What are things that you didn't expect to have to figure out, and what are some things that you're really excited about now being able to do? Oh, we lost you. We lost your audio. Yeah, okay. So technical mishap here. I'm going to recall you. We'll try that and see if that works here. That was weird. Hello, that was weird. But now that you're back, to rephrase the questioning, like what was a learning curve you didn't expect that you had to figure out right away to kind of get things going?
Programming blast beats is a labor of love.
Yes. Control V, Control C. That is.
No, I did it the hard way.
You'll learn.
I dragged and dropped every 16th note.
You'll learn that after you get whether it's a beat's worth or a measured's worth, you can just hold right down on your mouse and drag and highlight and Control C, go to the start of the next beat, Control V, and what I do for
I know.
Yeah,
I know that now.
Yeah, you'll learn.
I know that now.
There was another thing I remember you were having issues with when it came to MIDI bass and everything. Like,
I just used that tutorial video that you sent me. I didn't realize that you had to treat each MIDI track as like one loop of itself. Yeah. So I had it highlighted for, I don't know, a measure, and
it just kept going.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I just set it as as for whatever I thought the song was going to be, or slightly longer.
Yeah.
And then I just created a mini track from that.
Hell yeah. All right, time for another band that I know Shawn really enjoys. And this is Killitorous. And this is for fans. And this is actually featuring members of Annihilator, Suffocation, First Fragment, and more. There are album guests on this album. The album is called The After Party. The guests on this album include Dan Morgan of Voivod and Martyr, Riley McShane of Allegan, Leo of Divine Realm, Cody Ford of Swan, Raphael of Leprous, Yoey Raymond of Unhuman, Callum Clark of Ending Tyranny, Paul Blaze of Backyard, Matt Magachi of Cryptopsy, Tim of he's an ex-member of Obscura, Gore of Amira, and Bob of Firewind. Oh, that's cool. That is quite the combination. The track we are going to be listening to is Total Protonic Reversal, and just a little bit of info about the band. This is also for fans of Cattle Decapitation, Cephalid Carnage, Flesh God Apocalypse, Origin, and all their ex-current projects. Killitorous has already given the widespread success and tech death scene's mass awareness of the 2014 debut album Party Grind. If not, you missed out. The band is dropping their second album, The After Party, on May 22nd through Tentacle Industries. Only this time the group has expanded their lineup to adopt a triple guitar attack with a tech death setting, and the results are fucking awesome, and that is from Metal Injection. So without further ado, let's get into Total Protonic Reversal by Killitorous off The After Party, out May 22nd on all streaming platforms. Let's do this.
The scourge of Carpathia. What? Sorrow of Moldavia. What? Command you.
And below.
On a mountain of skulls in the castle of pain. Throne of blood. What was will be. What is will be. No more. Will be no more. Now is the season of evil. Find me a child that I might live again.
A child. A child?
A lot of people, when they get into opening a DAW and starting to use it for the first few times, they find it really intimidating. But I also find there's a lot of things that make ease of use just stupid. Like, there's some things that are just too fucking convenient almost. Has there been anything that you've kind of come across throughout just using it that you've been like, oh shit, it's that fucking easy?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Everything, like keeping everything balanced is at this, or until I learn how to do more in-depth editing.
Yeah.
It's been just the same as Guitar Pro. I just gotta make sure everything sounds valid. But yeah, it's only for my rough mixes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. And then what's something that you're really excited to be able to do now that you finally have the ability to not be just using MIDI instruments?
Properly convey my ideas.
I think that's always a good one too. You always have a good way of kind of getting the point across, but now that you can change tones or actually record the riff and not guess what the timing is and actually go into it and get it down. Excited to see what happens. And like I said, we were talking earlier on Facebook a day or two ago, that slip editing, guitar editing video I sent you, study that, because if you can manage to, and this goes out to anyone who does home recording, because there's going to be a lot of people doing exactly what you're doing right now, because people can't go to the studio, but people still want to get music done. And even the way you're going about it is basically about how I go about getting my full covers done and prepped, like getting my MIDI figured out, getting my length and duration and BPM and all that crap figured and imported into a DAW. There's so much that you can learn just based off that when it comes to songwriting and being able to move it from Guitar Pro to a DAW, or just being able to work in either or. Where if you say are working in a DAW and you can record everything to a point where you like it and you can learn how to edit it, it'll be so much easier for you to find someone to just go, oh, this is mix ready. Like I can work with this and give you a general fucking idea. You program the MIDI, that's great. I don't like your samples. I'm going to use my own drum samples, but I know what you want drum wise now. Just send me the session files and here we go. Versus not editing everything and then having the guy being like, I kind of get what you mean here. Let me spend 2 days just kind of fucking with shit and see if that's what it is. So anyone out there, if you're trying to get stuff done, learn a little bit about editing while you're doing it. It'll help you decipher where you need to tighten up in your playing. I think that's something you always kind of walked away from the studio kind of figuring out, is like seeing exactly how things line up on the grid, track to track, recording to recording. And if you can use that to kind of learn how to tighten up, and also just learn how to edit guitar, so that you can get a full vision of what your song is, you're going to have a better overall audio landscape of your demo, just having everything in phase, working together. The guitars won't be fighting with each other. And you'll also kind of know, like, okay, so what are the parts I need to tighten up? What are things that just even with editing aren't good enough for me to consider a solid take? I need to go and redo and practice this riff a few more times. I think that's honestly one of the best benefits I have through that. Another thing now that you can do is just run your pod while playing Guitar Pro. Like just opening up Podform on the computer and being able to play along with Guitar Pro versus, either having to run it through an amp that's a bit too loud or shit like that.
You're absolutely right.
So keep that in mind. And anyone else who's in this point in time, really keep in mind what you can do to just kind of better yourself in whatever it is. Like if you're not much of an audio guy and you're more of a video guy, learn how to do some video editing at this point in time. There's a lot of shit you can do with this downtime everyone has. With everything that's happened throughout the past month, what are a few things you've noticed you might have to reassess, or a few things the band might have to reassess leaving this pandemic? Because you're not just in a band or in a few projects, you're also a promoter in town. You also try to work within the scene and helping things go around. And everyone who does anything in the scene is kind of in a state of reassessment, reimagining, and executing, I guess, different ideas and ways of going about things. What have you kind of not come to realize? What are some things that you've kind of thought about that might need to be looked at and assessed over the next little while, or thought about when we go into the next stages of everything post-pandemic ending?
Nothing too severe, really. As of right now, it's the main thing I'm taking away from this is that I shouldn't be taking advantage.
Oh, fuck. I lost you again. I'm not sure what's up. Plug in your earbuds with the mic. I'll call you back one more time here. Back to the question.
Yes.
Do you want me to re-say it?
Yes, please.
What are things that either you as a promoter, musician, or the band as a whole have thought about possibly, not so much needing to change, but what are things that the pandemic's forced you guys to kind of look at or forced you to look at when it comes to this entire thing everyone's doing?
Honestly, the only thing I've really grown to appreciate the fact that we had the opportunity to book and play shows.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly it was to lose that. Like, that was the first thing to go.
Yeah, I was not happy.
No, none of us are happy.
No.
Even those of us that don't leave our houses, the shows were the one thing we left our houses for.
I'm craving a mosh pit like someone would crave a smoke right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, are you guys ready to listen to some more music? Let's listen to some more music. This is a song by Blackcast off the single, actually, is called The American Dream, and it was released on the 3rd of January, 2020. This is for fans of August Burns Red, Wage War, Currents, and Meshuggah. That's cool. This should be an interesting little taste. Let's see what we got for information here. In 2015, in the heat of San Diego, America, Blackcast started as a 6-piece band featuring 2 vocalists, 2 guitarists, a bassist, a drummer, and a drummer. Along the way, there was a falling out with our first 2 vocalists, and Blackcast became singing until the arrival of vocalist Tyler Walters, who helped push the band to where it's needed to be. Blackcast would soon to play alongside big bands such as Born of Osiris, Attila, Hatebreed, Bleeding Through, Spite, and Bad Omens. For 2 years, they played gig after gig and released 2 albums. Their self-titled album in 2016 and Riches to Ruin in 2017. After that album, life situations and creative differences saw the departure of all members except for their... Let's see what we got here. Their drummer and... I lost myself here. The drummer and one of the guitarists. They were replaced by Montgomery, Louis, and Richard for guitar, vocals, and bass. The new lineup quickly released 4 banging singles: Against the World in 2018, Buried Alive in 2019, Brain Dead in 2019, and The American Dream in 2020. They are on a roll and can't wait to show that they are stronger than ever and ready to prove they can still make ears bleed and heads bang. So without further ado, this is The American Dream by Blackcast. Go and get their music on all streaming platforms right now.
What's
Well, just pick your brain, because I guess we've talked about this in a bit in the chat, and I was talking to it. It's kind of come up with everyone is bands, musicians, promoters, the entire underground industry as a whole, and this kind of, I guess, would encompass also the establishments that the shows go in. We need to rethink the fucking model. Like if we are that quickly taken out by this, and a bunch of people that either that are higher up in the industry and actually rely on this for income are displaced, and then those of us that are trying to just do something within the community are unable to do anything. And bands now, you can't rely on shirt sales. You can, like you can't rely on basically anything. Like bands can't rely on shows to get their name out now. It's gonna it seems like we're getting into an age where we all now really need to assess how it is we engage our audience, what it is, how it is we as bands make money off the art we do, not for the sake of like turning a profit, from being able to like spread the brand and spread awareness for the band. Like, as much as I love shirts, the average person isn't going to go and buy a shirt at every show, and they're definitely not going to fucking buy a shirt at an online store right now of bands that they just heard for the first time. So there's got to be ways for bands to really think about, how do we engage with people now? How do we figure out a way to get people's attention right now so that when live does come, we have an audience? Because I think the bands that don't find a way to do anything right now are going to have much of an audience, or as much of an audience as the bands that do, once live shows are able to happen again.
So honestly, they're going to have to expand to different forms of media for the time being to keep interest on you. Oh,
exactly. That's like for Deadlights, we were going to do a bunch of playthrough videos and we have to reshoot them all. Like all the ones that were almost done, we're like, oh shit, something's not right. Something's just slightly off. We didn't really assess this. And well, we don't have time for that right now, or we have a lot of time, but Mason actually works. And so it's about just figuring it out. But did you see the Western Death thing that Derek posted? Like stuff like that.
I think I did.
He went and made cutouts of everyone in the band and mocked Mind Play 'em. It was very Jen's Meshuggah Nothing, or whatever song it was.
Yeah. And New Millennium sound that crazy.
Yeah, kind of sort of like that. And it was just him pretending to be everyone with different cutouts representing who they were over top of his face when it wasn't him. And I think that's what, well, not just that, because I don't think we should just be copying everyone, but bands really need to, like you said, find ways and get onto different mediums and really find different ways to plug themselves and get out there. Vlogs could work, but in the case of, like we were saying with the bedroom musician, start pumping some shit out. Start making some fucking demos. Yeah, crank out the singles, crank out the fucking demos. If you call it a demo, you get a lot of grace for your fucking quality. Like, let's be honest. So, like, bands that are...
That's no excuse to put out shit product, but yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah, no, but if you're, like, literally just trying to figure shit out, be like, I need to live, I need to learn, I need to get my band out there in some way, shape, or form, and I'm not making any money right now, so I can't pay someone to mix, and I can't find anyone. And if you can't find anyone, just... title it a basement demo and just put it on something. Think of ways to promote it. Make a shitty video to go with it. If you can at least keep people entertained on a visual medium, they'll probably forgive you on the audio while you figure it out. Especially if you're like very open on how self-produced it is and how everyone just kind of started at it. But that doesn't mean don't look for other help. But be creative. Think of things that you can do to really engage your audience right now. And this is coming from someone who's failing at it. Like, I'll be honest, like, I do shit for my personal stuff, but Deadlights as a whole, we've been in such a... Right when we were about to start getting stuff ready to promote is when this all happened. So we're kind of in that flux of like, well, we could.
Oh, you got a swift kick in the pills with that one.
Oh, yeah, I was like, awesome. Loud as Hell was announced. Let's get our lineup ready to announce. Like, we have our lineup. Let's get some photos ready. And pandemic. Never mind. We gotta do videos. That's going to be hard. We got to write songs. I mean, Mason and I can kind of still do that. So it's just bands can figure out ways. I do believe the self-isolation works, but also bands know that if you're already keeping away from everyone, that doesn't mean you guys still can't find ways to get together in some way, shape, or form. Whether it means you're in the same fucking room. Practices. Yeah. Like, you guys can still fucking practice unless one of you or two of you, like, if someone's in a situation where they can't because of not wanting to put other people at risk because of either their job, like them having a job or living with elderly members of the family or younger members of the family. Okay, I get that, but there's still ways to work around it. You can have those that can still get together and then ship off ideas back and forth. So, say in the case of Caliber, where you can't go because you are working and you're also interacting with older family and younger family here and there occasionally, and you're trying to stay as true to self-isolation as possible. It's really easy for the other members, if they're able to, and they feel like they're in a situation where they're capable of doing it, to get together and be like, okay, well, let's jam some shit out and record it on our phones and send it to Swan. He'll be able to decipher it. Let's do a test, a 5-minute test, and make sure that we get the phone somewhere in a room where it's audible. And then Swan's good enough. We'll just send it to him, and he'll fucking Guitar Pro it if we figure out anything or if there's any ideas, and he'll do something by ear and give us a better like demo to base it off of. Or like Drayden having a drum beat and being like, hey guys, here's my phone, I made a beat. And then Travis, you being like, oh shit, well, here's the fucking riff I wrote to that beat. I was listening to, like, watching the video for like 20 minutes today and I thought of this sick riff. Here's what I kind of came up. Like, there are ways for bands to still be creative and work with each other. Yeah.
What you're describing right now is basically how Travis and I wrote the entire album.
There you go. See, you already have it at play. And, different strokes for different folks, right? In different situations. How I would go about writing and sending stuff right now and trying to do stuff is a little different than how you would. And it's a little different than, say, how the Raising the Ruins crew would do it. But we all got to figure out our ways of still doing something.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Absolutely. 100% right.
Awesome. Well, there's not really a whole lot else, I think, to go in. I'm glad to hear that everything is going well with you and that everything is like that. You got your dog going, that you got some songwriting going, that you're having a good time. Is there anything you want to kind of leave the listeners with, and then like any words? And then I'm going to let you pick the last track. You can pick any Caliber song released or even the Abysswalker track. So
I'm going to pick Manufactured Genocide.
Okay.
Because I'm proud of that song.
Fuck yeah.
To this day.
Fuck yeah. Anything you want to end off with?
Praise the sun.
Praise the fucking sun, everyone. Thank you again, Shawn, for being a part of this. Here is Manufactured Genocide, the title track off the EP of the same name by Crimson Caliber. Enjoy.
death through conquering, suppressing true intent. It's clear to me, our future's bad. Manufactured genocide, insidious web of lies. Millions dead every day, cruelly slaughtered by the pain. Swarms of death you will overcome.